Right, we're at the halfway mark of turn 2. The infantry have spread out a little bit, but they're going to try and basically deactivate that minefield over there. The tanks are now, of course, bogging once they're actually in the forest, but they've just moved up a little bit. And infantry are surging forward here. BMPs have picked a spot on the hill where they can hop missiles from in due course. Now I've dropped all of my smoke, a nice big line across here. So if those tanks want to come out and start massacring these infantry in the open, they're going to have to push through the smoke first. Now my infantry are just starting to touch that objective. What that means is that if he doesn't start contesting the objective at the end of next turn, I will have it. So the pressure is on for the Americans to get aggressive and not sit there hiding behind their smoke. And we're now over to the American turn 2. It's the end of turn 2, and the American tanks and some of the AA VADs have all run forward to try and massacre that infantry to stop them being a threat to that objective. The problem is they put all their fire into one platoon, and it's just hanging on without needing to do a test. That doesn't bode well for the Americans, because if I end the turn having pushed these vehicles away from 4 inches from that objective, then I actually get the gain. So this is sudden death if I'm very, very lucky. Right, well, my usual luck has returned. Fucking hell. Right, it's the end of the, turn 3 for the Polish. And we've done our damnedest to get everybody in position to pop out. We cleared the minefield. We advanced the tanks, but of course 4 of them fucking bogged again out of 8. We did manage to collect a tank with some cheeky flank shots using the stabilizers at their maximum 14-inch move. I poured a whole shed load of fire into the VADs and killed 1 and bailed 1. The artillery failed to roll in or range in. Bogged BMPs over here. Choppers turned up and survived a fairly impressive amount of fire, actually, can't complain about that. But then they all fucking missed. So we have 2 platoons of infantry claiming the objective, sitting under a shed load of guns that have just steadfastly refused to die after I've thrown pretty much my entire army at them. So it's now over to the American turn 3, and frankly I don't think this bodes well. Fortunately, Emilio's luck was as ratchet as mine last turn. His reserves did come on, and they used some clever movement orders to get deployed. So good for them. They won't get caught blasted away in the transports. He's moved to better position himself with his remaining shooters, but he's only killed 2 tanks and 1 infantry. So I got away with that god-awful gun line rather better than I deserved. And it's now over to turn 4 for the Polish. Alright, end of turn 4 for the Polish, and we've killed another Abrams, we killed another AA VADs in the defensive fire. Another one of these choppers has been wasted by, who has it got on this time? The Stingers over there, sneaky beggars. We're pushing down on this flank here. We're also running out of time because it's, we're about to turn into pumpkins. It's so late. But the pressure is on both sides. We're starting to whittle down these tanks. His AA is suffering. It's going to be another bloody turn. Let's see what happens at the end of the American turn 4. Well, it's all degenerated to a face-to-face meat grinder now. Emilio's wasted another couple of my tanks, and he's wasted my BMP2s, which is kind of inevitable, but very unfortunate. And he took out 1 more chopper. So it's going to be a hard push to try and get him off of the objectives. Nonetheless, I'm going to give it a crack. Either that or I'm going to try and break his bloody army. One way or the other, I'm going to push a result out of this bloody game. It is now the end of turn 5 for the Polish, and it's been a mixed bag for dice. I have killed one AA with artillery and bailed the other guy. My Shilkers poured a fuck ton of 23mm rounds into some Humvees, which bailed and double bailed, but that's about it for the moment. We'll see if they get back in before the morale test. My infantry are getting very aggressive, but couldn't kill anything this turn. I finally wasted this tank here with my flank shots. For 3 turns I was shooting that bastard in the flank and rolling 1s for firepower. Finally rolled something other than a 1 and got him. Now, the infantry are concealed and gone to ground because they're in the open and they didn't move or shoot. Got a few little pesky things floating around, but most importantly, I've killed another tank. So all that's left of the tanks, apart from the CO, is 2 single tank units that have to roll every turn for morale now. So if they flee, then I've pretty much got the game. So we've got 2 platoons there. Let's see if they stick around. They've got a morale of 4+.
2 dice.
Let's roll them 1 at a time. Let's see where the dice land. Oh, he's sticking around.
Cocked.
Oh, yep. Well, yeah.
Go again.
He's got a flat. Yep.
Yes.
Motherfucker. Little fucking bastards.
Yes.
Well, those pricks going to have to roll every turn now. And, all right, well, let's see if those AA over there stick around.
1 dice.
Actually, roll to see if they get back in first.
No.
They do not. All right, so it's a morale test to see if they stick around. And one dice. Just 1.
Yep.
All right, well, everyone's brave in the American forces today. This last VAD, see if he gets back in.
Oh, didn't roll. Hang on.
Nope.
2.
That's a 2. Let's see if he runs away.
3.
No, he's gone. All right, great. So we still have no AA cover, so these last couple of choppers can keep chipping away. All right, let's see how much carnage Emilio can inflict with his infantry platoon. It looks like it's going to be an infantry versus infantry shit fight to see who pushes who off the objective. We'll check in at the end of the American turn. Okay, end of the American turn, and I rolled a fistful of 1s and 2s for my infantry saves. So that's gone from being a solid position to a bit dicey. But I reckon I can get him. I've got infantry there to jump on the AA. I've got choppers here to jump on the tanks. I've got tanks and enfilading shots. And I've got a bunch of BMPs that are useless for most things except for shooting at infantry.
Now those tanks in the forest are bogged and they need to move out of the forest.
I've been bogging well above average all day, but on the other hand, I think that's actually been preserving my tank platoon from getting annihilated by all the Abrams, so I can't complain. So we're going to do a quick run, see if I can smash enough of Emilio's stuff to call it as a conclusion, and hopefully not yet another tie. Okay, it's the end of Polish turn 6. I won't show you Emilio's face. It's not a happy face. Oh God, what did we do? The infantry did some sneaky maneuvering over here, shot up and assaulted those bailed out stingers, and his tank could not do much about it because I was using their bailed out vehicles as concealment for the infantry's advance. He did manage to clean up all the shulkers though, it's worth noting. Now, over here, we poured every bullet we had into the infantry, killed 2 and pinned them, and we cleaned up the transports. But the big news is the choppers finally fucking worked and killed off the last of his tanks. So what Emilio has left on the table, the US Armored Corps has still a pretty dangerous infantry platoon, and some bogans next door evidently having a good yell. So he's got the infantry, he's got these tow teams, and he's got his HQ. And against that, I've got a couple of choppers who are not feeling too many threats, 3 functioning tanks, some seriously bruised infantry, but they're still in the game and they're supporting transports, and of course a shitload of artillery, which is not doing anything anymore because all the action's too close for the artillery to range in on anything. So what do you think, Emilio?
I think I had a massive gun line. Maybe I should have pulled some of the Abraham tanks back. Still would have been in range. Could have saved those tanks from rear shot attacks.
Yes. Put them up
And
against
then
the edge of
maybe
the table.
match them up with another Abram. I could have had 3 viable Abrams still in the game up on the top of the hill, but I didn't go with that option. But
It is worth noting it's quite late, unless you're drunk like our neighbours. I find the tactical prowess past midnight tends to deteriorate a little bit. There's certainly some things we could have done better on both sides. And the dice rolls were fickle bastards right through the game for both of us, I think. So, what did we learn?
I was quite happy with my reserves coming on when they did. I think the smoke screen worked really well for you. It forced a lot of my troops to move forward to keep their assault viable. But in hindsight, maybe they should have moved up, attacked, and then pulled back.
Yeah, I think something I've noticed in this game compared to the World War II and World War One version is that being static tends to be the way to be with tanks once you're in position in World War II and earlier. But when you've got these lovely stabilized, long-range, high-priced tanks staying on the move even when doesn't necessarily look like you need that little bit of extra advantage, but it's still good to be on the move because every little bit of advantage counts, and you only need one dice roll to go wrong to lose a lot of points. I think I only lost 1 platoon in total. There's a lot of dead shit, but it's spread out across a lot of units on the table. And I guess the lesson for the Warsaw Pact forces is the same lesson as always. Get comfortable with casualties. Well, this is the first game I think that we videoed where I've actually beaten you, so that's rather nice. You've collected me good and proper in the last couple of Warhammer games. So thank you for that. Thank you for also for people who have stuck it out to watch all the way through this. And I think it's time to call it a day.